Welcome to today's our class. Myself K. Manjula, Assistant Professor of Physics, Dr. BRR Government Degree College, Jadchalra, Mahbub Nagar District. Coming to today's class, let us discuss today that is radioactivity. What is radioactivity? And some these contents we are going to discuss in this class, that is introduction of this radioactivity and radioactivity definition, stability of nucleus, loss of radioactive decay, decay law and decay constant, half life and mean lifetime, activity of radioactive substance and units of radioactivity. This is the today's these are the today's contents. Let us try to understand what is radioactivity. Radioactivity is a well-known phenomenon which is discovered by Pierre Curie and Marie Curie. Mainly, first of all, this radioactivity is discovered by Henry Becquerel. So, radioactivity is nothing but it is the process of a spontaneous emission of a radiation. The radiation may be in type of that is electromagnetic radiation or nuclear radiation. That means radioactivity is the process of spontaneous decay and transformation of unstable atomic nuclei to the stable nuclei. So that means if we consider heavier nucleides, that is uranium, thorium, polonium, these heavier nucleides have no stability. So the first thing we have to understand that in any system tends to move to get a stability position. In the same way, the nucleides, heavier nucleides also, to get a stability, they lose their some of their mass in the form of radiation. So that this is a spontaneous process. It is not stimulated. Spontaneously occurs in the nature by some of the nucleides. So totally we define this radioactivity as the radioactivity is the process of the spontaneous decay and transformation of unstable atomic nuclei accompanied with the emission of nuclear particles and radiation. This radiation should be in the form of electromagnetic or nuclear radiation. So that is the here this is again this we define this radioactivity as is of two types, that is natural radioactivity and artificial radioactivity. So this spontaneous emission is known as a natural, that is which occurs in the nature naturally. That is the phenomena of a spontaneous emission of radiation by heavier elements found in nature is called natural radioactivity. For example, all heavier nucleides, that is uranium, thorium, polonium, like this. So for this radioactivity and radioactivity related experiment, there were so many scientists gave their contribution. Let us discuss their contribution also. In 1896, Henry Becquerel found that uranium salt is in 1896, Henry Becquerel found that uranium salt is emitting radiation and this radiation has strong penetrating power. He found that. Here the behavior means this is emitting the radioactive behavior of uranium is independent of the environment and electronic structure of the atom. But these properties are due to the only the uranium nucleus independently. So after that, Marie Curie and Pierre Curie studied extensively and found other nucleides also emit this type of radiation, which is called as a radioactivity. So that is polonium and radium also exhibits this radioactivity. Next, after the discovery of this radioactivity in 1897, Rutherford and his group found that radioactive substances emit radiation of different nature depending upon the penetrating power. All heavier unstable nuclides exhibits radioactivity, but all emitting radiations are different. So these are three types different depending upon the penetrating power. Those are alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays. See here, these are the alpha rays. See, this is alpha rays, these are the beta rays. So less penetrate, they are named less penetrating rays are alpha rays and more penetrating rays beta, and more still more penetrating power as gamma. So the penetrating power increases less gamma, the penetrating power of gamma rays is more than and beta and alpha. Depending upon the penetrating power, the radiation exhibited by these heavier nuclides are known as alpha rays, beta and gamma rays. This is the emission of, simply we can understand that this radioactivity is simply the emission of alpha, beta, gamma rays from a heavier nuclide spontaneously is known as also radioactivity. After that, this radioactivity is the phenomena of unstable nuclei, not stable nucleus. See here, this is the property, that is only the unstable nuclei exhibits this radioactivity, because unstable nuclei, to get a stable nuclei, it loses some of its mass. So that is the stability of a nucleus can be explained by this one. You are observing this one, that is the nucleus does not spontaneously emit any kind of radiation. On the other hand, if the nucleus is unstable, means not stable, it has tendency to emit some kind of radiation that is known as a radioactivity. So that the main thing, hence radioactivity is associated with unstable nucleus. This is the property of unstable nucleus. Stable nucleus does not exhibit radioactivity property. So that's what stable nucleus is a non-radioactive nucleus. Unstable nuclei is the radioactive nuclei. So this is the relation between radioactivity and the stability of the nucleus. And this stability depends upon another property also, that is neutron-proton ratio. Here, neutron-proton ratio is the dominant factor in nuclear stability. So that is based on general observations over the available stable isotopes, it appears that neutron to proton ratio is the dominant factor. So by this neutron proton ratio, let us try to understand the stability of nucleus. See here, you are observing this table. In this one, these are the protons, neutrons and protons, neutrons, number of stable nucleides and stability. So the simplest ways predicting the nuclear stability is based on whether nucleus contain odd or even number of protons or neutrons. You see here, the stability increases from in this direction. So most stable, the nucleides which are having even number of protons and even number of neutrons have most stable than other nucleides having odd protons, odd neutrons, odd protons, even neutrons, even protons, odd, like this. This is the by means here. What is the meaning of this table? Means nucleides containing odd numbers of both protons and neutrons are the least stable. See here, this is the nucleides containing odd number of protons and neutrons have least stable. That means they exhibit more radioactivity. Nucleids containing even numbers of both proton and neutrons are most stable. Thus they are said to be less radioactive. Let us see some examples for this one. For example, see here. Nucleids contain odd number of protons and even number of neutrons are less stable than nucleids containing even numbers of protons and odd number of protons. For example, see here oxygen. The oxygen 16 contain the if you take a oxygen isotope. See here, this is oxygen isotope. Here, this oxygen contains how many protons? 8 protons and 8 neutrons. These are in even number. If we consider oxygen, another isotope, that is oxygen 17, that is it contains 8 protons, 9 neutrons. Here the protons are in even number, neutrons are in odd number. Therefore, out of these two oxygen isotope, which one is more stable or which is less stable? That is, therefore, oxygen here, oxygen 17 is the unstable nuclei. So it exhibits a radioactive property. Similarly, if we take another example, chlorine 35 has, if we take chlorine isotope, it has 17 protons and 18 neutrons, which are in odd and even number. If we consider another chlorine isotope 36, chlorine 36, it has 17 protons and 19 neutrons. These are in odd number. Hence, out of these two, which one is unstable? So that is chlorine 36, because odd the nucleids which are having odd number of protons and neutrons are least stable than other nucleids by according to neutron proton ratio. So if we take another example, mercury 195 has here this one, even number of protons and odd number of neutrons. If we can take another one, that is mercury 196, even number of protons and even number of neutrons. So automatically this mercury 195 is said to be unstable. So this is the totally the nucleids which are unstable in the nature, they show a radioactive property. So this is the relation between radioactivity and the stability of the nucleus. Next, let us discuss about the loss of radioactive decay, means radioactivity. So anyhow, even though the unstable nuclei is emitting alpha, beta, gamma rays, this this emission depends upon what quantities. That is that these are known by the decay loss. So actually, this radioactivity in 1896 was discovered by Henry Becquerel. When he was studying the fluorescence properties. See here, this is the fluorescence and phosphorescence of the compounds irradiated with visible light. He found this the property, that is radioactivity. What he done is that he illuminated some pieces of uranium potassium sulfate with visible light. Next, he wrapped these pieces in block paper and separated it from a photographic plate by a piece of silver. Next, he left it for several hours. Then what he observed, after developing this photographic plate, he found that there was blackening on the plate. That means, what is the reason? So that is the breaking of nucleus. See here, the spontaneous breaking of nucleus. The spontaneous breaking of nucleus is known as radioactive disintegration. So by this experiment, he concluded that The spontaneous breaking of a nucleus is known as radioactive disintegration. So this is next another and, that is Rutherford and Soddy made experimental study of the radioactive decay of various radioactive materials and gave these following laws. That is, these are well-known laws. That is, first law is, see here, the first law, the radioactivity decay, that is disintegration, means emission of this alpha, beta, gamma rays, that is known as a decay. Radioactive decay is a random and spontaneous process. It is a random process. It is not influenced by the external conditions such as temperature, pressure, and electric field. This is the important. It is related to only the nuclide only. It does not depends upon the surroundings like temperature, pressure, electric field. And second law, each decay is an independent event occurs by a chance to take first. That is, this is each decay is an independent one. Next, third one, in any radioactive decay, either a alpha particle or beta particle is emitted by the atom, but at a time both types of particles, emission of both types of particles is impossible at a time. This is, moreover, an atom does not emit more than one alpha particle or more than one beta particle at a time. That is, next when a nuclide emits, next there are some, this is when a nuclide emits alpha particle, what happens to the parents, means parents nucleus, that is the, its mass number reduced by 4 and atomic number by 2. So this is the when alpha particle is emitted, the, this is the condition. See here, for example, say this is a, say this is X A is a nuclear, unstable nuclear. If it emits alpha particle, here alpha particle is known as a helium particle. Helium atom is known as a alpha particle. So XZ emits a alpha particle. See, this is, see here, alpha particle is nothing but a helium atom is known as alpha particle. If XAZ emits a alpha particle, then the daughter nucleus, this is parent nucleus, this is the Y. Suppose say X transforms into another nucleide after emitting alpha particle, say that is Y. This is known as, this is parent nucleus, and this is daughter nucleus. We can see this is daughter nucleus. So this daughter nucleus, its mass is decreased by, reduced by 4 units, and atomic number reduced by 2 units. When this is the condition when alpha particle is emitted, because the alpha particles, we represent this alpha particle as a helium atom. Helium atom has atomic number of 2 and mass number of 4. That's what, according to conservation of charge, we can write this alpha particle equation. For example, if you take uranium 238 alpha decay equation, uranium 238, it emits one alpha particle, then parent, this is parent nucleus, daughter nucleus become thorium 234 90. So this is the alpha particle. Similarly, see here, here also you are observe, this is alpha particle emission. This is alpha particle emission. See, when a nucleide emits a beta particle, its mass number remains unchanged, but atomic number is increased by 1. So this is about beta decay. Suppose say X is the nucleate. If it emits a beta particles are nothing but electrons. So electron is represented by like this. So according to conservation of charge, this daughter's nucleus atomic number is increased by 1 unit. So we can write this beta decay equation. Xa gives rise to Ya, so z plus 1 to z plus 1 A plus electron. Similar, for example, carbon 14 gives rise to nitrogen 14 plus here also helium and one electron, one beta particle. Similarly, when a nuclide emits gamma ray is nothing but electromagnetic radiation. The gamma radiation is emitted by the excited nucleus, and when a nuclide emits a gamma ray, neither the mass number nor the atomic number changes. So this is the gamma ray equation. Xa gives rise to Ya plus gamma. This is gamma radiation is emitted by the only the excited nucleus. These are called the displacement laws. That is laws for decay for alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays. Next another law, the rate of disintegration. The rate of decay, the emission of these alpha or beta or gamma particle depends upon what? So that is this one, fifth one. The rate of disintegration of a radioactive, this one. The rate of disintegration of a radioactive substance is directly proportional to number of atoms present at that time only. This is decay law. This is decay law. So for this mathematically we can write, suppose N0 be the number of atoms present at the radioactive sample at time t is equal to 0. That is. Next, if N, suppose say N0 is the initial number of atoms at t is equal to 0. After time t, the number of particles is, say that is N. Okay. Then now the rate of disintegration. The rate of disintegration means according to time dN by dt. The decay, that is disintegration, depends upon the remaining particles only, not N0. So this is that is at that the disintegration depends upon the number of atoms present at that instant of time. So for that purpose, this radio disintegration law, this is dN by dt, directly proportional to N. To eliminate this proportionality constant, we can write this equation as dN by dt is equal to minus lambda n. Here lambda is nothing but a proportionality constant, disintegration constant or decay constant. This is the arrival of this decay constant. Here what is the negative sign? Why we put here negative? Because n decreases as time increases, because the nucleate, our substance, is emitting alpha, beta, gamma rays. So the n, that's number of particles, number of atoms decreases as time increases. So that's what we use this negative sign. Next, after that, the number of disintegrations, the number of disintegrations per second is called as the activity of the radioactivity. So that is radioactivity sample, that is dN by dt is equal to minus lambda t. If we integrate this equation, limits initial number of atoms and remaining number of atoms n0 to n can be written as integration time t is equal to 0 to t lambda dt. By integrating this dN by n, we get log n n0 to n is equal to minus lambda t, within the limit 0 to t. After substituting these limits, we get log n minus log n0 is equal to minus lambda t. Next, log n by n0 is equal to minus lambda t. Therefore, this can be written in logarithmic principle, that is n is equal to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. Here, that is lambda is the decay constant, and total equation is known as a decay equation, disintegration equation of radioactivity. It shows that here the number of active nuclei in a radioactive sample decreases exponentially with time. The number of a radioactive sample decreases but exponentially decreases. So that's what according to this graph also you observe. Say on by taking time on the x-axis and the quantity of element atoms remaining on y-axis, we get the graph like this. See here, exponentially decreasing as time increasing, t to t. So at the beginning, that is number of atoms are n, after that n0 by 2, after that n0 by 4, like this. The number of atoms decreasing exponentially. So this is a spontaneous emission and rapid emission like this. This is the radioactive decay equation. That is next. Let us again think about the decay constant, which is lambda in this equation. From the radioactive disintegration equation just now we derived that one. That is dN by dt is equal to minus lambda n. This decay constant can be written as lambda is equal to minus dN by dt by n. That is, this lambda can be defined as, the decay constant is defined as the ratio of the rate of decay per unit atom present. So this, or in another way, if we can define this radio disintegration constant in another way also. If we put T is equal to 1 by lambda in a decay equation, that is n is equal to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. If we put T is equal to 1 by lambda, then that what happens? That is n is equal to n0 e to the power lambda t. In this, lambda is equal to 1 by t, tt gets cancelled. The equation gives n is equal to n0 e to the power minus 1. That means n is equal to n0 by e. n0 by e nothing but 2.71 Napier's logarithm, 2.78. That means 0.37 n0. Totally that n is equal to, in percentage wise, n is equal to 37% of n0. Means if we put time t is equal to 1 by lambda, the remaining atoms is equal to 37% of initial atom. So hence decay constant may also be defined as the reciprocal, that is lambda is equal to 1 by t. If t is equal to 1 by lambda, lambda is equal to 1 by t. So the reciprocal of time during which the number of radioactive atoms of a radioactive substance falls to 37% of its initial value. So this is the another definition for radio disintegration constant. And this is the another, this one by this, sorry, here. This is by using this equation we can define one definition for disintegration constant. By using this also we can define, that is lambda is equal to, so lambda t is equal to 1 by lambda, that is lambda is equal to 1 by t, reciprocal of time, like this. Two types of definitions for this disintegration constant. Next, half-life. Let us know about the half-life. In the name itself, half-life means the time taken as the radioactive substance is emitting alpha, beta, gamma rays. As it decays, this half-life also important to understand the process of this radioactivity. So the time taken by a radioactive substance to disintegrate half of its half of its atoms, this mean half of its atoms is called as the half-life of that substance. It is denoted by T off, that is T off simply. Its this half-life depends upon the different nucleides. Its value is different for a different substance. So for let us derive an expression for this half-life also. Already we have radioactive disintegration equation. Same process, that is, let n0 be the initial number of atoms in a radioactive substance of decay, constant lambda. Then after lifetime t, here this half-life can be written as also time of lifetime also capital T. The number of atoms left behind is n0 by 2, because we define this half-life as the time taken by a radioactive substance to disintegrate half of its atoms. So that's what n, the remaining atoms, that is n must be equal to n0 by 2. So substituting these values in our radio activity disintegration equation, that is n is equal to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. This is the disintegration equation, decay equation. In place of n, n0 by 2. In place of t, substituting capital T. So n0 by t, n0 by 2 is equal to n0 e to the power minus lambda into capital T or T off. By cancelling n not n remaining atom, n initial atoms n0, n0, we get e to the power lambda t is equal to 2. Then lambda t is equal to, we can write, that is log 2. Then of life, that is t is equal to 0.693, that is log 2 by calculation, that is t is equal to 0.693 by lambda. This is the equation for half-life of a radioactive substance. By this we can understand that half-life is indirectly proportional to its disintegration constant. So this is the relation between the half-life and decay constant. Thus the half-life of the radioactive substance is inversely proportional to its decay constant. Next, after defining this half-life, let us it is also very useful in explaining this radioactivity process, that is mean lifetime, that is mean average lifetime, that is 2. So mean life in radioactivity is the average lifetime of all the nuclei of a unstable atomic species. So time this here, this therefore this mean life can be defined as sum of lives of all atoms by total number of atoms. This is the mean, simple mean formula we are using. Sum of lives of all the atoms of a radioactive substance to total number of atoms. This is the ratio. Just substitute, that is T average. We show this of mean lifetime as T average, T bar, that is already, that is lambda integration 0 to T dn 0 to infinite, that is T lambda n naught e to the power minus lambda T dt by total number of atoms as n0. Then remaining is lambda 0 to infinite T e to the power minus lambda T dt. This can be done by the by parts method of integration. We get here T average is equal to lambda T e to the power minus lambda T by minus lambda integration minus integration e to the power minus lambda T by minus lambda dt in 0 to infinite. On substituting and simplifying, we get this T bar is equal to 1 by lambda. Simply here what we use is sum of lives of all atom. Sum of all lives of atom is nothing but T dn. So that is by n0. This is the key equation. Totally the equation for mean life is T mean is equal to 1 by lambda. So this is mean life is indirectly proportional to the disintegration constant. That is the reciprocal of the decay constant. Next, another term also we define in this radioactivity process, that is activity. Activity of radioactive substance. It is nothing but the rate of decay of a radioactive substance is called activity. Rate of decay already, that is dN by dt. This is rate of decay. This is dN by dt. Simply this is known as a activity of the substance. Therefore, R can be written as R is equal to lambda n. That is lambda n. R can be written as, again this lambda can be written as in the terms of half-life 0.693 by T into N. That means R is proportional to N. Similarly, in terms of initial and remaining terms, the activity can be written as, if R0 is the radioactivity of the substance at T is equal to 0, then R0 can be written as lambda N0. Then R by R0 can be written as lambda N by lambda N0. By substituting N is equal to N0 e to the power minus lambda T, we get e to the power N0 and 0 cancels, that is e to the power minus lambda T. That means R is equal to R0 e to the power minus lambda T. This is similar to decay law, that is N is equal to N0 e to the power minus lambda T. So this is the activity of the radioactive substance. So sometimes this is also important, that is number of atoms left behind after N half-lives. See here, of N after, for here N is N0 be the total number of atoms of a radioactivity substance present at T is equal to 0. Okay. Then the number of atoms present after half-life must be equal to here, that is at T is equal to 0, number of atoms is equal to N, 0. After T is equal to capital T, means half-life, N is equal to N naught by 2, half-life, that is half of the particles. So that's what we are writing here. After 2 half-life, the number of present can be written as half N0 by 2. This can be written as half square N0. Similarly, after N half-life times the number of present, that is half to the power N, N0. This is the of remaining after N half-life, the number of present is can be written as like this equation. In general, after time T is equal to Nt, the number of atoms left is given by half 1 to the power 1 by T N naught. And after T is equal to Nt, the activity also can written in the form of same equation of to the power 1 by T R0. In place of N0, we are writing R0. So this is the number of atoms, this is the activity. So similarly, if R be the activity after N half-lives, the R0 be the initial activity, this can also written as R is equal to half to the power 1 by T R0. Then R0 can be written as 2 to the power NR. So this is also sometimes important to understand radioactivity very easily. Next, let us know about in what units we measure this radioactivity. So there are more units. So the activity of a radioactive substance is measured in terms of disintegrations per second. That is important here, per second. So there are 3 units for that one here: Curie, Rutherford, Becquerel. Curie, how we define this Curie? It is defined as the activity of a radioactive substance which gives 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegrations per second. It is equal to the activity of 1 gram of pure radium. So this is the Curie. Curie is nothing but 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegrations per second. Similarly, another unit we use to measure this radioactivity. It is defined, that is Rutherford, in the name of Rutherford's scientist name. It is defined as the activity of a radioactive substance which gives rise to 10 to the power 6 disintegrations per second. So 1 Rutherford can be written as 10 to the power 6 disintegrations per second. Here units by when we measuring this radioactivity, the disintegrations we have to calculate per second only. That is important here. Next, becquerel. Becquerel is the SI unit of radioactivity. 1 becquerel, it is nothing taken to be 1 disintegration per second. So Curie, this is 3.7. Curie can be written as 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegrations per second. This can be written in terms of Rutherford. In place of 10 power 6, if we place a Rutherford, the remaining will be 3.7 into 10 to the power 4 Rutherford. So these are the units to measure the radioactivity. So Curie, Rutherford, becquerel. Curie is nothing but 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegrations per second. Rutherford is nothing but 10 power 6 disintegrations per second. Becquerel is considered as 1 disintegration per second. These are the units for radioactivity. So this is about today's class. Here let us recall what we have learnt in this class, that is the radioactivity. The radioactivity is the spontaneous, that is radioactivity, stability of nucleus, loss of radioactive decay, decay law, decay constant, half-life, mean lifetime, and activity of radioactive substance, units of radioactivity. Radioactivity is nothing but the process of spontaneous decay and transformation of unstable nuclei to stable nuclei. So this is the important. So this occurs the radioactivity which occurs naturally in the universe is known as natural radioactivity, whereas other one is artificial radioactivity. This was found by Henry Becquerel. Later Marie Curie and Pierre Curie studied this radioactivity that other nucleides also exhibits this property. Mainly this radioactivity, in the case of radioactivity, heavier nucleides emits alpha, beta, gamma radiations. Because this type of rays are found by Rutherford depending upon the penetrating power. Stability of nucleus also related to the radioactivity. Only the unstable nuclei exhibits radioactive, whereas the stable nucleus is non-radioactive. Depending upon the neutron-proton ratio, we can explain the stability. The nucleides which are having protons and neutrons in even number have most stable than other nucleides which are having odd even odd number of protons and neutrons. Like this, in these three examples we have discussed which one is stable and which one is unstable. And coming to loss of decay, the radioactive is the random process. It is not influenced by the conditions, external conditions such as temperature, pressure, and any surroundings. Similarly, each decay is independent one. In any radioactive decay, either alpha particle or beta particle is emitted. Emission of both times at a time is impossible naturally. When alpha particle emits, when a nucleid emits alpha particle, its mass reduced by 4 units and atomic number reduced by 2 units. Similarly, when beta particle is emitted, its atomic number increased by 1 unit. When gamma particle emits, there is no change in neither mass number nor atomic mass. The gamma radiation is emitted by excited nucleus only. This next this coming to this disintegration law. the rate of disintegration of radioactive substance is directly proportional to the number of atoms present at that time only, not in any factor. So dn by dt can be written as dn by dt directly proportional to n, then dn by dt is equal to minus lambda n. Here minus shows that n decrease, the atoms number of atoms n decreases as time increases. So this is dn by dt is equal to minus lambda n. Here lambda is known as a decay constant or disintegration constant. After integrating this disintegration law equation, we get finally a disintegration decay, so that is disintegration equation as n is equal to n0 e to the power, we get n is equal to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. That means this equation shows that the number of active nuclei in a radioactive sample decreases exponentially. See, by seeing this graph you can understand this. As time increasing, the atoms decreases exponentially. So this is a decay equation. Next, decay constant is the two definitions for this decay constant. And half-life, the time taken by a radioactive substance to disintegrate half of its atoms is known as half-life. This can be written as T is equal to 0.693 by lambda. Here half-life is inversely proportional to its decay constant. Next, another definition, another term also important. These are the terms, that is mean lifetime, half-lifetime. These are very useful in explaining that radioactive process. This mean lifetime equal to 1 by lambda inverse of this disintegration constant. Activity also, this is also similar to radioactivity decay equation, n is equal to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. This can, in terms of activity, r is equal to r0 e to the power minus lambda t. Activity is nothing but the, that is rate of decay, dn by dt is known as a activity. And units for this radioactivity: Curie, Rutherford and Becquerel. Curie is nothing but 3.7 into 10 per 10 disintegrations per second, and Rutherford is 10 to the power 6 disintegrations per second, whereas Becquerel is 1 disintegration per second. This is about today's class.